stuck in figuring out how to level up your classes, what can you do to really make your classes great? With marketing, with building upon each other, getting more enrollments, getting re-enrollments, just all in all, making great classes and getting those students to come to you. Well, I am talking with Laney from Life with Laney all about her team membership in today's episode of Online Teacher Talk. I love doing these interviews with other teachers because I get to introduce them to you, to my audience. And I feel like they have so much to offer you that I couldn't possibly recreate. Laney is no exception. She is a fantastic person to follow on Instagram, here on YouTube as well, and I know you'll get so much out of her advice that she is giving you in today's interview. If you have any questions or want to follow up with Laney, I will leave all of Laney's links down below in the description box that you are welcome to check out. Without further ado, let's go right to the interview. Awesome. We are recording. How are you, Laney?
Good. How are you?
Welcome to Online Teacher Talk. That's what I'm calling these little episodes. Awesome. I'm so excited to have Laney on here. I have followed her on Instagram for a long time, since like when she started, and she's just been so fun to follow and see all the cool things she does for online teachers. So I'm excited to sit and talk with you.
I'm excited too.
Oh, great. Awesome. Awesome. So let's start with your background. What's your background in? What's your education like?
So I don't have a teaching degree or certification. I actually graduated with a bachelor's degree in mass communication. I wanted to be a radio host. So I interned at a morning radio show in Raleigh, North Carolina for like 3 years. And I thought that was definitely something that I wanted to do. But that didn't really work out, mainly just because the hours starting out were really crazy. And once I graduated, I just needed a job. So I wasn't willing to like wait on it too much. So I actually worked in insurance for 8 years.
Oh my goodness. How funny. You got to pay the bills though. You got to get it done.
Yeah, which is insane and not, again, something else that I never thought that I would do in my life. And then somehow I got into this. Something else I didn't think I would ever do in my lifetime. But yeah, so I've done a little bit of everything, I feel like.
That's so crazy. Well, that's probably why you're so good at what you do. You kind of know a little bit of this, a little bit of that.
Right. Exactly. Doesn't hurt, I guess.
Yeah. Well, how did you get started with online teaching? What was that like?
So at the time, it was August of 2019. And my son had just turned 1. So I had 2 kids at home. I was a stay-at-home mom, and I was running this side business at the same time, but I really wanted to get out of it because I was exhausted from it. And I just wanted to do something at home with my kids. I was already with them enough, but I needed something. It's not monetary the reason why I needed to take on online teaching. For me, it was more of like an outlet. I already loved to do play-based learning things with my kids at home. It was definitely my top priority at the time, was like making the most fun out of anything that I could teach them. So my friend and neighbor, she actually got hired with VIP Kid and told me about it. And I thought, well, that would be kind of cool just to try it out. I've never taught in any form other than my own children. So I did it. I applied. I got hired. And at the time, I needed to learn more about VIP Kid when I was getting hired. So I got on Instagram. I looked up hashtags actually. So I came across like Maddie, Teacher Maddie, or Teacher Kaylee. So I started to follow them, and I thought to myself, well, maybe I should make my own teacher Instagram. Let's just, see it and connect with other teachers. And it just kind of, I don't know, snowballed. It was kind of crazy how it all happened, but yeah.
That's so crazy. That's so funny. I follow them too. And the same thing. I thought, oh, maybe I should do that. I don't know.
Yeah.
I remember following you kind of from the start and just being like, oh, she's so cute. I love her stories. I love her stuff. I think a lot of people feel that way. They're like, you're relatable and you're so genuine and authentic. So I think that's part of why it snowballed for you. You're not putting out anything fake or trying to
Yeah.
sell something. It's like, no, this is really great. This really is me.
Yeah, yeah, and that's actually something I talked about recently with another online teacher is that I feel like a lot of online teachers don't understand the power behind having this huge online community with Instagram. It's huge. It's so big. And I didn't do anything special. The only thing that I did was just share what was happening in my classroom. If a kid was calling me ugly, I was saying, this kid just called me ugly in class, or if I changed up my background, I was just sharing. And that's the only thing that I did was just to share. So a lot of online teachers don't recognize how much that can really like escalate things for you in your business because it's all about connections and meeting people.
Yes. I
Yeah.
love that. And it's so true. It's about that community. And
Yes.
I know I'm thankful for it because when you're working at home, you can
Oh,
be isolating and you kind
yes.
of need those coworkers to be like,
Yes.
dude, this kid was crazy. I got to tell you about it.
Exactly.
So it's fun to have those online. I love those connections.
Me too.
Well, I want to hear about what you're doing now, what's going and have my audience know what you are doing, what you're offering because I think it's really amazing. So tell me about that.
So I started with VIP Kid, of course. I worked with them for about 9 months, and then COVID came, and I was still at home with my kids even more. And so Outschool became a huge thing. And because I liked the play-based learning side so much, I had actually just started a blog whenever Outschool started to be this big thing. And it was just me sharing all of my play-based learning ideas for other parents who were struggling with their preschoolers during COVID. And so I was like, well, at the same time, let me just go ahead and apply for this company and maybe I can make some really fun classes. So I did that and I just kind of documented my journey through the whole thing through Instagram. I told any and everything. I wasn't being intentional in what I was sharing for like the thought of I'm going to end up selling something for people to purchase. It was just me helping others. And I think that that's a huge thing also with the online teaching community with Instagram. Everyone is so helpful. So I got hired and I actually had a really successful first 3 months with that company. And with me continuing to share, I just got a ton of response from other teachers saying that they wanted to know more about how they could see the same type of success and bring in 5,000 or more a month from teaching part-time online. So I decided to create a membership where I shared any and all tips that I had on lesson planning, marketing, technology, all of that. And that's what I've been doing. I've been creating different types of online offers and programs for people to learn how to establish successful online teaching businesses and to expand their income, their reach, and to become entrepreneurs, honestly, because teachers are the best people to be entrepreneurs. And I just want to kind of showcase that to people.
Awesome. Okay, I want to follow up with that. You were saying they're the best people for to be entrepreneurs. What do
Yes.
you mean by that? Like what do you can you
I think
expand?
that teachers are naturally extremely creative. Number one, you have to be to to be in that environment. So I think that a lot of times teachers feel stuck because if they're brick and mortar teachers, especially, they feel so stuck and they don't realize that everything they're doing inside of their classroom for the students inside of their classroom, those are things that they could be sharing and using as either free content that then extends to paid content. There are tons of people, teachers specifically, who have talents that go unnoticed by themselves
Yes.
because when you're in a
Yes.
brick and mortar classroom, if it's just kind of how the cookie crumbles for a lot of teachers, I think, because there's so much else that you have to deal with. You don't really pay attention to like, wow, I'm actually really good at this. Maybe I could share it and help another teacher. So
So true.
that's what I mean by they're super entrepreneurial and they don't even recognize it.
Yes. Just this morning I was listening to a podcast and it was a teacher who was looking for kind of like her purpose, her life purpose. And it just so happened to be a teacher. It wasn't about teachers, but she was saying, sometimes you feel like as a teacher, you've got to be the martyr all the time because you're doing it for the kiddos. And she's like, and I am. I'm not doing it for the money. I'm not doing it for this. She's like, I am. But it's hard because so many times you're just beaten down, like, oh, I've got to do
Yeah.
this and I've got to do this. I got to do this for the kids. But
Hmm.
like you said, you don't realize all the skills you have because you're doing it for the kids. And
Yes.
it makes you a great entrepreneur. I
Yes,
loved
for
that.
sure.
I think that's awesome. I love that. And I totally agree.
Yeah.
Um, so tell me about Team. What are some things you do in there? What are some highlights for you that you love to do in there?
So the team, it originally started as a membership, which it was basically just a monthly subscription. And it was a 6 month long membership. And we just ended that first 6 months, which was amazing. And we had over 150 teachers go through the entire 6 month program. And the results that they saw were phenomenal. They were phenomenal. And the results are the best part of all of it for me, just to see
Yes.
these online teachers who are really bringing in, number one, the income that they want, but also the freedom that they want to be able to do and go as they please. I mean, really, that's the goal for a lot of people, is that freedom. So
Yes.
that's definitely the best part. But now what I've done is I've taken that 6 months of content and membership and I've turned it into a course. So at this point, it's something where people can purchase it, and it's 8 modules of training from me. They're video trainings, but it comes with a lot of downloadable resources for you to implement the things that we talk about. We go over how to create classes that stand out, how to build classes, starting from the bottom and then adding on additional ones that encourage re-enrollments. And we also talk about how to effectively do lesson planning so that you increase your engagement from your students, as well as productivity for how to do it in a normal amount of time instead of spending hours on lesson planning. So there's a ton that goes into it. Marketing, there's a lot that goes into it. But with that, you also are able to have monthly live Q&As with me. So it's a giant Zoom meeting where every team member comes, they can raise their hand, ask questions, talk about their specific classes. And like this last one, there was even a teacher who came on who needed help coming up with ideas to help her stand out from the other teachers inside of her subject. So it was amazing to see everybody come together and give all of this advice and throw out ideas. And she came up with some really amazing ideas from it. So that's also my favorite part, is the live Q&A portion, because it allows us to really connect, which is important to me. So yeah, it's a lot of cool stuff inside of the team.
That is so cool. And to think, you can sometimes there's these Facebook groups and they're free, but I know there's a reputation with online Facebook groups.
Oh yeah.
Sometimes they get a little mean. And so I always get wary of that, like, oh, I don't know if I want to be in there or, share anything because I don't want to get thrown under the bus. And I get weary of those. But
Yeah.
it sounds like yours is so positive and like everybody's cheering each other on and like, no, let me help you. We're
Yes.
gonna come together and like collaborate and work hard on this. So I kind of love that feeling I get whenever you're talking about the team and like,
Yeah.
oh, I love that because not everybody has the answers, but at
Right.
least you can bounce ideas off of each other and go, oh, okay,
Yes.
now the wheel's turning.
That's a big part of what I teach inside of the team, but also what's gotten me to where I'm at is it's community over competition. It's easy to look at other online teachers and to think, wow, like this online teacher is doing so much. And you could immediately go to a negative space with that and say, like, there's no way that she's doing all of the things that she's, I mean, there's so many ways that you could go negative with that. But
Right.
instead, I prefer to collaborate, just like with you, with Danny J, with whoever, it doesn't matter. I would prefer to make that connection and to expand our reach together. That's the only way that I've gotten where I am, is from learning from people like Angela Silver, Nancy Taylor. There's
Yeah.
so many teachers who have helped me to get to where I'm at.
Yes, and that's so true. You have mentors, but you also have colleagues, you have people that can focus on one thing for you that
Yeah.
you can go, how do I do this part? And they can help you. And I've loved that too. I've had people, I've started out thinking, okay, now I've got to learn all the technology behind it,
Right.
then the business side of it, then the marketing, and going, I can't do that and teach. And
Yeah.
so now I've started going, well, they do that. I'm gonna let them take that and like glean from them because they're giving so
Yes.
much. And so I bet that's a lot of the team is like, oh, okay, now I can do it and getting pumped up from those,
Yes.
different perspectives. So
Exactly.
that's awesome. I love it. I love hearing you talk about team. And a lot of times, not like every day, but I'll see your success stories. People will tag you
Mhm.
on their Instagram stories like, thanks, Laney. Now my class is amazing. Or I sold out. And I'm like, that's so great. Like, I don't ever feel like that competition with them, like, oh, I wish I would sell out. I'm like, oh, that's so cool. You did it.
Encouraging. Yeah.
Yes. So, and it's hopeful for your, your schedule and for what you're doing. So I really love seeing those success stories. I think they're so fun.
Yeah. Too.
Awesome. Well, I love what you're doing and really helping people see the Outschool. It's not just you being an independent contractor of like I teach and then I leave. You can really make it a business, a whole business. So I love what you're doing and creating these great classes because yes, it benefits the teachers, but it's always about the kiddos, right? Like it comes
Exactly.
right back to the kids. So I think you're changing the world.
Oh,
You're doing
thank you.
great.
Man, you make me feel like I'm gonna have to come here every day.
I'll be your cheerleader. You got it. You're doing great. Well, I'd love to hear what's your best advice for online teachers or for new online teachers, I should say.
I would say that my best advice would be number one, anyone who is successful, the only difference between them and someone who's not is that they failed more. So if you have this grand idea of, it could be anything, doing a YouTube channel or coming up with an online offer like a course or a membership or maybe a TPT store or something like that. If you start, if you just start, that's number one. But also, if it's not the right fit the very first time, then you have to keep going. You have to figure out how do you adapt and how do you modify it to make it work for you. That's the only difference. I failed many times. It's even in online teaching, I failed many times, but all it takes is you just picking it back up and doing it over again to figure it out for yourself. And that those are the ones who are most successful. So if you're looking for that, you just have to keep doing it over and over again until you get it right.
Yeah, I love that. That's such great advice and so good to see. You might not get in the first time, you might not get hired right away, you might not get bookings right away, but it comes. It comes
Exactly.
as long as you keep going. I love
Yeah.
that. Well, do you have, I always ask everybody this, but what is your favorite quote?
Oh, God, Stephanie, I just lost it. Hold on. I got it on my phone. I saved it. I was sitting here thinking, I was like, yeah, no, this is coming. Doubt. Here we go. This is a good thing that I actually keep this on my phone. So next time I get asked it.
Hey, it's good. And then you can look at it and encourage yourself. I love it.
Yes. Okay. Oh, here we go. Okay. You can. Doubting. Okay. So my favorite quote is doubting yourself is normal, but letting it stop you is a choice. So everyone has that fear of starting something new or failing at something that they really want. But if you don't actually do it, you'll never know. So you have to choose to bet on yourself, which is a huge part of being any type of entrepreneur, but especially in the online teaching world.
Yes, and believe me, it feels like a gamble every time.
Every time. Yes.
Like, oh, that's risky. I don't know if
Ooh, I don't know if this is going to work out. Yeah.
I trust me on this. And it doesn't work out like you said. And you gotta pick yourself up and go, okay, I'm
Yep.
still betting on me. I love
Exactly.
that. That's so good. All right. Well, you're awesome. Thanks so much for being on
Of
here. I
course.
appreciate it. And I'm so excited for everybody on my channel to get to know you more and to see what you offer with Team. So you can check out I'll leave all of her links down below in the description box. But thank you, Lainey. I really
Thank you
appreciate
so
it.
much.
Thank you so much for watching today's interview with Laney. Don't you just love her? I think she's so incredible in what she's doing for other teachers, what she's building, and especially the community aspect of collaboration over competition. I think she is just doing a great job of helping other teachers build their online teaching businesses. So if you want to check out her stuff, everything she's all about, follow her on Instagram. I will leave her links all down below in the video description box. Thank you so much for watching. If you liked this video, will you please like it by giving it a big thumbs up down below? I would really appreciate that. And stay tuned for more videos to drop each week. I always have a new online teacher talk episode that comes out every month, and you can be notified about those by clicking subscribe to my channel. I want to end today's video the same way I always end it because I think it really helps you get in the mindset to go and do great things, which is with a quote from my hero, Mr. Rogers, "Let's make the most of this beautiful day."